Hi, Fab Family. Welcome back to another podcast.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Can we get the applause, though?
Oh.
Can't leave that out. Come on now. You have one job. One job.
I have a lot of jobs, apparently.
You're right. You're right. You do a lot. Thank you so much for this amazing setup. I keep forgetting. This whole setup, camera, lights, everything is Babe. I have nothing to do with that stuff. I'm just brainstorming ideas, topics we could talk about, but all the technical stuff goes to Babe.
Stop like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Money, I'm sorry. Okay, so what's today's topic? Obviously, you guys already know. It's in the title.
Is it, though?
It is. Should a woman make more money than her man? What do you think?
Is that okay?
I want to hear your thoughts.
Gotta choose my words carefully.
No, I want you to speak your mind. I want you to be honest because I want men who are listening to you to be able to relate. I want you to be as honest as possible coming from a man's point of view.
I don't think the correct word is should.
Okay.
I feel like it's okay. Like if she makes more money. Now, if she makes more money because you're just being lazy, we got a problem. Or, I mean, I can use our example. Like we've always been on a battle of like, who's making more money? It's like a friendly competition.
But can we be honest?
Wait, what?
Can we be honest, though?
About what?
About our start.
Oh, that you made more money than me? Oh,
I
for
did.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
You want to be honest about now?
That's funny. But see, that's the point. For me, personally, I don't think it's all about money. But I do think obviously money is very important, and we met each other when we were very young. So to me, there was wiggle room. You know, like there was a chance for us to grow. Obviously, when we met each other, we were so young. We met each other at 16. We weren't together definitely from that point, but that's when we met each other. But when we were in a serious relationship, we moved in, we were about 21. I was making more money, but
So wait. So did you see me as less of a man?
I did not. And the reason why I didn't was because I knew, by the conversations that we had, I knew that you were seeking to better yourself. You were not happy where you were. So I knew that. So that made me feel okay. Now, if his words had to match his actions too. So I saw that he was a hardworking man. So it wasn't like he was just being a lazy guy sitting on the couch talking about, yeah, I want to better my life. It wasn't just talk. I could actually see he was a hardworking man. He was responsible. Like the jobs that he had, he was very responsible with those jobs.
I just gave myself a round of applause.
Okay, I figured. So yeah, I had confidence that even though when we started I was making more, that you would eventually catch up, or if not, surpass me.
So what happens when the man can't, like, no matter how hard he works, what if that person the man never reaches the woman, no matter how hard he tries? What if he's always under? Like, they say, okay, I'm working hard this year, and I'm like catching up, whatever catching up is, and my wife's just like, boom, and I'm like, shit, I really can't do it.
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I think that
because at the end of the day, you feel like the alpha. As a man, you're like, okay, I'm the head of the household. I think
for most men, they want to feel like the alpha. Most men, obviously, there's exceptions to the rule, but I think most men do want to feel like the alpha in the relationship. And I feel like that would affect more the man's ego than it would affect the woman if the woman really loves that man. Like, I feel like, let's say that was you and me. If that were the case between you and me, I appreciate you for so much more than just money. So that wouldn't be like a deal breaker for me. Like, I wouldn't see it as, I mean, if I see that you are hardworking and you are working, you're not just being lazy, you just so happen to be in a field, let's say, that makes less money than I do, what am I going to do? Like, it is what it is. It's like that kind of thing, like where it is what it is. Now,
do you feel like that man should possibly look for a different field?
But what if that man is in a field that he actually loves and has passion for? I feel like it depends on their situation. If the woman is making more money where they're comfortable, why does he have to leave his field of passion because he needs to be catching up to what she makes? That doesn't.
But I can put an example. Let's say you was a surgeon, a doctor, and I wasn't. I was just, I don't know, a banker or who knows, anything. Sales or anything.
Yeah. But
you have, let's say, a yearly salary of, let's put a number out there, $300,000, right? What's the chances of somebody working a regular job making a $300,000 if they're not an executive?
Yeah, it's not very high. So that's what I mean. Like, if there's true love and you guys enjoy each other's company, I don't feel like money should be that thing that breaks you apart. Like, if everything else is in place, that shouldn't be a reason for the woman to leave that man.
So what if the woman just says, you're going to have to raise your income or this is not going to work?
What if the woman says that to the man?
Yeah. What should he do? Should he say, okay, I need to man up in a sense and figure out a way to make more money to keep my woman? Or should he just say, you know what, this is not for me because she's chasing me for the wrong reasons?
Wow, that's difficult. I think you should answer that because you're the man. What would you do?
Yeah, I just gave myself a question.
Yes. I don't know. That's the man's choice. Like, how would you feel if I told you that? And you were in a field, you were happy with your job, you were making a decent amount of money to earn to live, but I told you, no, you need to find another job because you need to be making as much as I'm making or more. How would you take that?
I guess it will come down to kind of like what you said, that you don't really love me because of the money. It's really what
status thing.
Yeah, what else? Like, is my household happy? Like, is everything else besides the money going good in my house? And it's just kind of look at myself in the mirror. Like, is she telling me this because she feels like I can do better? Or is she just telling me this because she wants me to have more money?
I guess it would depend on the circumstance, right? Like,
would me making more money change how we're living? Like, would it make us happier? Obviously money would, can buy you different things, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will make you happier.
But see, this is where communication comes in. This is why I feel it's so important that when you get in a relationship with someone, you lay all the cards on the table and you tell that person how you see yourself living, what's important to you and what's not. Because if a woman gives that kind of ultimatum to a man in regards to money, then that means that status has always been very important to that woman. And that woman, like, she is very ambitious, while that man is okay with staying and settling where he is and being happy where he is, but she wants more. So that's where I feel like that's why it's so important that both people are on the same page in regards to money and goals, like future goals. Don't ever, I say this.
That was a dog in our lobby.
Don't ever settle to have a relationship, a serious relationship, marriage and all, with a person who isn't as ambitious as you if you are an ambitious person. Yeah, because eventually you will find yourself to be unhappy because that person, while you're trying to scale all the time, that person is content where they are. And there's nothing wrong with them being content where they are, but you guys need to be on the same page. That's something that cannot be different, I feel, in like a marriage. It can't. Like, you guys have to be on the same page when it comes to money goals. But yeah, what the original question was, should a woman make more money? So, no, they don't have to.
That shouldn't define your relationship.
No.
Because, do you want to take a step further?
Yes.
Should couples, I'll say married because we're married, should married couples have a shared bank account?
Should they have a joint account?
A joint account. Right.
And in that case, what would it matter who's bringing in what if it's joint, right?
At the end of the day, it's a household.
Right.
Right. So it's, I mean, I know for a fact not every household is like this. Mm-hmm. Some people are very against it. Some people are for it. We have a joint bank account. We've had it since we've got married, I think, right? Was it? Or was it before?
Not since we have. I don't know how long we've had it like that. It's been a little while, but.
Yeah, it was either before we got married or
after. I think it was after. But the reason why we did it is because there's no secrets, like, with our money. Like, I know what he works. He knows what I work. He knows how much I make an hour. I know how much he makes an hour. There's no secret. And at the end of the day, we live in the same roof, under the same roof. We have to both pay the bills. Like, what's the big deal? We both have kids. They're both ours.
Now, if you're not married, I personally wouldn't suggest it because you guys are not joint. So, like, for us, for example, if, God forbid, we was to get a divorce, you know, money has to be split regardless of what account is in. So it doesn't really matter. But if you're just a couple, you know, things sometimes don't work out.
Yeah,
so,
boyfriend and girlfriend, that doesn't apply to boyfriend
even if you have kids together.
And your boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah. No, I feel like get married.
But what if they already live together? There's people who don't get married, but they're living together. Like, if they're married. I feel like if you're in that situation, it still applies.
I guess, yeah. If you're like in
But can you even have a joint account if you're not legally married? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure on that.
Okay, so let's stick to the married people because that's what we know.
I mean, if you can, if you're living together and
if you're living together and it's been years,
makes life so much easier. Because there is no, oh, you paid. Like, it's just, it doesn't matter.
You know, the comments that I get sometimes from people is like, they feel like you're taking away their liberty or their independence as a person. And I get where they're coming from. But then again, I think that if you feel that way and you're married, that's a red flag for me. Because that means that you don't fully trust that person you married. And I get it. A lot of people are like, yeah, you never end up getting to know the person that you're with ever. You know, people change all the time. I get that. But why are you in marriage with that kind of mindset? I feel like that kind of mindset kind of puts you in a path of failure. Because you're off the bat just assuming that things are going to go wrong. And it's like, if that's the case, I'm not getting married. For what?
And also, again, we've talked about in previous podcasts, you guys can go back and listen, and like communication. Because when we spoke about having a joint bank account, you off the bat said like, okay, but I need my money for myself.
It's true.
For, you know, the things that you want to shop.
Because I also, it's like, I feel like it's almost ingrained in the back of our minds for my generation. I'm 31 years old. That most of our moms, as we were growing up, always told us, mi hija, vaya a la escuela para que trabaje y no tenga que depender de ningún hombre. That was always the advice that we would get. That we would get from our parents. So basically they would always tell us, my daughter, go to school, get an education, get your own job so you don't have to depend on no man. So I feel like a lot of us had that fear getting into relationships. We always felt like we have to watch our back. And I do think that at the beginning you should be very aware. Make sure that person's not taking advantage of you and that you guys are on the same page and that you guys are a team and nobody's trying to take advantage of anybody. But after a while, you have to, I feel like you have to let go and trust that person. If that person hasn't given you any reason to not trust them, you need to let go of that fear, because the moment you let go of that fear and you guys start working as a team, that's when you actually start to grow.
Like, it shouldn't be straight like, oh, my daughter, don't depend on them. You guys should, if you're married together, you should depend on each other, because that's what you're there for. Right. I should depend on her and she should depend on me. It's not just like, okay, she's going to depend on me, and if I don't make it happen, like, she's screwed. It shouldn't, because you guys are joined. You guys are decided to create a family, get married, and just be together so you guys can grow together. It's not like, let's get married so we can grow separately. Right.
Then what's the point of marriage? Marriage is so you can have a partner for life, so that you guys can go through life together and be each other's
support
system. That's right. So, damn, I was going to say something else and I forgot my point. I hate when that happens.
It was in the zone?
Yeah. No, I started listening to you, and you're making some really good points. I'm proud of you. So that's why it's not about the woman making more money or the man making more money. It's about both people working hard to have sustainable life, to be able to have good living, so that if one person can't work for some reason, something happens to that person, they can't work, you're able to take over and the household be okay. If the other person can't work, same, vice versa. It should go both ways. I know for some people it might be different, because there's some women who, want to be solely taken care of, and that's also fine as long as the man obviously is making enough money. It depends on what every person really wants from the relationship. But for us personally, if you're in marriage, one, it doesn't really matter for us who's making more money. We're both always striving to be better. And if at one point I surpass his money, that just gives him more motivation to surpass me.
At the end of the day,
it's like a healthy battle. It's not really like, oh my God, like, she's making more money than me, she can't be making more money than me. Like, I've never felt like Babe has felt any type of way because I was making more money than him. Like, if anything, I feel like he's my number one cheerleader. And I really, really like that. I really, really love that about my husband. He doesn't bring me down. He's not trying to compete with me. He lets me be what I am, and that's it. And he is the best he can be, and I am the best that I can be, and we're the best team together. That's it.
And we're not the best. We're always working on each other. So it's not to feel like, oh yeah, we're here, we're the best. And no. Period. No, we're always finding ways to improve.
Yes.
This for us, I feel like this podcast is like, kind of like therapy.
Right? It is. Yeah. It is.
Even though, like we've mentioned before, that we have these conversations off camera. And that's why we decided, like, hey, how about we just start a podcast and talk about this, because maybe we can help other people and bring them value. So that's why we did this. And it's just now it just, we have to actually plan and sit down and do it. Before it would just be like,
it would just happen randomly.
I walk in the bathroom like, you think we should have a shared bank account? Now it's like, babe, okay, so tonight we're going to talk about savings.
And so what would happen? Let's take it back to that conversation, because Babe did mention that I was a little like, but I need my money, because I had like that wall up, like that defense wall, like, you're not just going to control me completely now because we have one bank account. Like, I still work. My money is going in there.
So funny you talk about it, because you didn't have your own account spending until like a few weeks ago. That I was like, you know what, you should just use this account for your spending for your. It was just like you just used whatever was in the account. Period.
Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't like, okay, this is gonna be your card, and we're gonna deposit a certain amount every month, and you just could use that, but you can't touch everything else. It was never like that.
No.
But initially, when we spoke, that was the plan.
Yeah. But I kind of I trust you. I never really felt like hostile. Like, I never really felt like, he's like holding my money and I can't use it.
Because it's a joint account. Everything is there. She logs on.
He never made me feel like, oh my God, like he has all my money. Like he has access to my money and I can't do what I want. I never felt that way. Especially when we started the joint account, because I believe now that I'm thinking about it, we started the joint account because we were on a journey to pay off debt.
Nah, it was way before that.
Was it?
Yeah, definitely. The debt journey was like 2 years ago. We've had a joint account for like 5 years.
We've been together for way too long. I'm losing track of things.
Yeah. The joint account was like right after we got married. Literally like right after we got married. Because I remember we took but what I was going to is that my point was that I wasn't like super like, oh my God, like I'm going to spend this much. Like we were so focused at some point. Well, I've always been very self-conscious about like money. I never want to feel like I'm spending so much that my family is suffering because of my bad spending habits. So I'm very like cautious with overspending, even though I want to all the time. And I control it.
Well, he helps me control it. But I am very conscious about it because I don't want to be the person who doesn't allow my family to reach wealth, because that is a common goal that we have. And so I know that I'm more of the spender in the relationship.
And I'm the saver.
Yes. So I do try to have some self-control. So the reason why I wasn't like, so, okay, like I'm going to spend this much, like I would just, if something came up and I needed to buy myself a dress, some shoes, I would buy it. And that's it, because the money was there. But, we were very focused on saving and paying off debt for a couple years. So that's why recently was when we said, okay, like we need to
loosen up a little
and you can
look presentable for you.
He was the one that kind of brought it up, like you should have this much for yourself to like spend on clothes and shoes and stuff. And I'm like,
and it wasn't like, oh, here's an allowance. It was more like,
it's also not like he's here, I'm giving you permission. It's just that
we budget.
Yeah, we budget, and I'm very understanding. Again, like I know for a lot of women that probably would have been really hard to do, because there's a lot of us who like to spend a lot on like things that we don't actually need, but we just want. But at the end of the day, I understand that we're a team and that he won't be able to make progress if I'm always in the way.
And also, you're like that because of the things I tell you that I want to do in the future. Like the reason why, like what's our why and why we actually want to save the money and why we want to invest the money.
And I totally understand it. And that's why I make a conscious decision to be conscious enough to hold myself from spending so much.
But if your partner tells you you're going to spend this much and you're not, and that's it, and doesn't tell you why, like why only this and what's going on with the rest of the money, it's like, okay, so now we have a problem.
It goes back to communication.
As always.
Yes, it goes back to communication, because the reason why I'm very on board is because one day he actually sat with me. He was the first one who was like doing all this research and listening to people who talk a lot about like financial freedom and wealth. I wasn't on that boat yet. We always had ambitious goals. We just didn't know how we were going to get there. And he was the one that pulled me to the side and said, here, you need to see this video. Like, we need to get on board. We need to be on the same page. We need to budget. But he put me to the side and he explained things to me. And I was open about it, you know, because at the end of the day, we had the...
You just beat yourself?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm talking too much. At the end of the day, we had the same goals, and I knew that we had to do something in order to achieve those goals. So I'm all in to do whatever it is that I need to do. I'm willing to be a cooperative wife. I'm willing to be a cooperative wife so that we can work as a team and achieve our goals together. Because I know that is a lot harder for anybody in marriage to achieve anything if both people aren't on the same boat.
Agreed. And that concludes us.
Yes. We kind of went off tangent and ended up in a different, you know, kind of topic. But
it all comes together.
It all connects. Yes. So.
Good chat.
Yeah.
Good therapy session.
This is good. This was good. Next therapy session. Yes, this is like a therapy session. Well, next podcast, we might have a guest here with us.
We'll keep you posted on who it is. If you want to see who it is, we'll put a little flyer together. So make sure you follow us on Instagram. I'll put the links up down here. If you want different type of content, more fun, happy, you can follow us on our TikTok. I'll also link it down here. And all the links are also in the description as always. Make sure you guys follow us.
Yes. If you have come to the end of the video, thank you so much. You are the real MVP. And I want you guys to comment down below. What are your thoughts? Along with a pink heart this time. Of course, the last time you guys didn't follow instructions. A lot of you commented, but you guys forgot the blue heart. What's going on?
What if they just like, you know, the goodbye, they skipped the goodbye at the end and they didn't hear you say?
I don't know. Write down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on this topic? And leave us a pink heart. Thank you. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have come to the end of the video, don't forget to leave your comments down below. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Also, please don't forget to hit the bell so you can be notified every time we post a video. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.
I gotta get a new song.
That one will work for now, though.